Hey guys, it's your boy Cobra. In this video, I kind of want to go over some different bases that I've created. I started playing a game around January, and I've done a couple different playthroughs. Up until 1.0, I was using the same blueprint of a base and just making it better and better each playthrough. And we're going to look at that base right now. However, I do have a 1.1 version of this base, and I think you're going to get excited about that. So let's go into the 1.0 base, which is right here. You guys weren't supposed to see this just yet. This is actually my auto mob farm, and yeah, it's a massive piece of work. So it took me a long time to build that bad boy. So if you want to see that, make sure you hit the like button. That way I get that video out pretty quick. So this base here took a couple iterations, but we finally, it got to a point where it felt good. I've got my garden, everything looks good, feels good. I can take my scarlet hoe and it fits perfectly on these gardens. If I accidentally click here, it doesn't matter. I got my glass bridges painted black with lava underneath it, for those of you wondering. And it gives me extra light, right? Because all this would be dark if it wasn't for this magma underneath the glass bridge. Now, if you didn't have the black paint on top of that glass bridge, it's just too bright. So I had to really dim it down, but it looks really good. Here's all the trophy collection for all the bosses that we killed. So we have every trophy in the game. This is a final base for 1.0. Now the problems I was trying to solve with this base, and the reason I kept redoing it is because I was looking for the magic base, the one that I want to use every single time. And I came up with this design. I want to be able to craft from storage. I want to go to a workstation and I want to craft exactly what's in there without having the crafting material in my inventory. And with this base, you can do that. Here's a crafting area and it's got extra storage underneath. This is a crafting area. This is a crafting area. And in the 1.0 patch, you were able to craft from every workstation without worrying about having to go look for items. Now, it still has a drawback. I can go exploring, have tons of stuff in my inventory, say my inventory is full. What do I do with that stuff, right? That's a problem that we're going to solve in the next base, so stay tuned. Get ready for it. Now, as far as the wood farms, you don't need a large, massive wood farm to make this thing work. I've only used 16 seeds per farm, and it's plenty. And everything goes up this belt and then goes through this splitter. Then it comes down this belt and it goes down these saws and ends up in this tile right here and then gets fed into this box. So all the seeds, all the planks, all the logs get fed into this box here. Now, if I start to gather too many, say I'm getting more of the gleam wood than what I want, I can just do that and then throw it into this box and it'll take it through the system. And it's going to end up over here into this box. So the way I've set this up is I know I can sell if it's in this box. So I'll just take this and I'll go sell those planks. So it's an easy way for me to make money passively while I'm out doing stuff. Now for ore, because you notice I have bars in here, all I have to do is throw the ore into this one and I just let it go through the auto smelter. It's something I don't have to think about. It's a very small blueprint and I don't need more smelters. I don't care how much ore I put into the system. As long as it's not over 4 nines, almost 10,000 ore, it's going to be fed just fine. But you can craft anything you want without having to worry about looking for material. This is my own personal section. I did have an auto hatchery right here. I've removed a lot of the pieces to it because I was tearing it apart. And I also tore apart my cattle area because I was going to combine the two and make it an auto function. You could do that in the 1.0, but before I got to it, the 1.1 update came out and I wanted to rebuild my base with a lot of its functionality in mind. Now, I also created an auto cooker. I believe it's 16 pots here. And this is my fishing area where all my fishing holes are. Now, all of the ingredients that I use for all the recipes that I cook are going to be in these 2 chests, the left chest, the right chest. And then I just place them in the center chest. It goes through the system. and it ends up in one of these pots to be cooked into food. Now this was an absolute monster to build. I'll be honest with you, it was a nightmare. Lots and lots of doing it again. So thank God the devs came up with a new patch called the 1.1 that changed all of this. But the way it was designed is these are filters. So as the items come down the belt, it will come here and then it'll go down and it'll keep going down these until it gets accepted by the filter. If it gets accepted, it comes out the drill and it goes onto the belt and ends up in the pot. Now, some recipes or some of these filters need to be split. So for example, it comes out here, goes into this chest, it gets split by this table, and now it's on 2 different belts. It gets fed into the pots. So this is no longer necessary. You do not have to build this. It's a thing of the past. It is no longer used in the 1.1 base. And another thing I want to kind of point out for this base is you'll notice that this root right here, it's got dirt under it. This root right here has dirt under it. This one has stone. This one has stone. These are original. The original root is on stone, and in order to replace the root, it has to be done on dirt. So the reason that happened is because monsters sometimes come into this base because I have it wide open. I solved for that in the next base as well. So the problems I solved in the 1.0 base was crafting from storage, an auto smelter, auto cooker, an auto wood farm. I get to refine that wood further if I need to. All my storage needs are met with this, and I had an auto hatchery. So it was a very robust base. Like, I can do a lot with this base. Oh, and one more thing, I also have a skill up section, so I can turn these on. And I can come in here and I can hit this guy to skill up my melee. I can shoot these guys to skill up my ranged, or I can even summon this guy and skill up my summoning skills. If you're not aware, these skills, you have to skill these up in order to get access to what the tree has. And I did the same thing as far as storage over here. So that was storage for different gear at different parts of the game. So if I do another playthrough, I will know at what parts of the game certain things are available. This is for cooking. Same thing. This is if I do another playthrough, I know what recipes are available at which time. This is after the wall is down. And this is after... this is in-game. And then I also have pre-food, like food that you can make before you take the wall down as well. That's this stuff over here. All of these are recipes that you can make before you ever take down the wall. So that's what that area is for. It's just an expanded kitchen. That way I can remember what recipes I use. Trust me, when you take breaks with this game, you will forget. So that is all the things I saw for with this base. Now, there's still some quirks about the game, and that's inventory. It drives me crazy. You get tons and tons of items. What do you do with those items? It's a nightmare. It's actually pretty aggravating, but I saw for that in the next base. So in case you're curious, this is what the footprint of the base looks like. This is where the NPCs are. Here's the cattle. That's the room that has all the armor. There's my area for skill upping. This is my wood farm and my auto smelter here. These are my crafting areas. These are my gardens. And here is the ponds. So this is the size of the base. And then look at the size of that auto cooker. Thank God we don't have to build those anymore, right? Let's go to the 1.1 base so I can show you how I solve for the inventory issues. And you're really not going to recognize it. It's just a different base. All right, this is the 1.1 base. It is quite a bit different than the last base. I've been making the same base over and over and over again for a while, through all of those playthroughs, just making it better, adding, solving more problems, but still using the same footprint. This base here, I started with one problem that I wanted solved, and that is an auto sorter. That way I can take one chest and allow the automation of the game to put all the items that I put in that chest into its correct box. So with the new 1.1 patch update, all these workbenches and statues pull from a specific chest, and I believe it's 10 tiles away. So if I go here and I want to make one of these items, is pulling from a chest. I don't actually have to touch the chest with the workbench. You used to have to do that in the 1.0. That is no longer a thing. Even when it comes to food, I no longer need that monstrosity of a build called the auto cooker, because I can just pull from a chest. It's no big deal. And I can just get them cooking from here. Getting the items to this thing to make them cook, not a problem. But you just dump stuff into the into the system, and then the wood is just going to pass through this auto smelter and come out on the other side and get fed into here. And then it comes down these two into the crafting section and gets filtered through these chests. Now you need 6 chests to make this thing work, and they have to be spaced out kind of like they are here. And these 2 chests cannot be moved. You can't move them up, you can't move them down, you can't move them left or right. They have to be in the place they're in now. Because in order for this statue to be craftable, you're pulling stuff from this chest, because you're using the same material from this statue as you do from this statue. And with an auto sorter, you can't limit how much items go into a chest. So you can't have the same item in 2 different chests, not in your crafting chest at least. So the number that they used as far as tiles away is perfect. It is absolutely perfect. If it was 1 tile shorter, this would not work. You would not be able to do this. I don't know if the devs did this on purpose, but I'm glad they did it. All right, so let's go ahead and finish, because I'm sure stuff is going to start to come down. So after it gets to the end, it will circle back around and come this way. And then it gets fed with it. These 2 arms are going to pull it to this belt, and then it gets fed through these incubators. All items pass through it except for eggs. Eggs will get cooked in these things, and then they'll get dropped onto this belt and moved on up and put into our storage here. This is an auto storage system. What you do is you kind of put whatever gear you want to save and then some shovels, so it passes through that chest and it continues to go down. Same thing with your stacks of stuff. You might have stacks of things inside chests, and it will continue to build that stack, and then everything else gets dropped further and further down on the chest priority. Eventually it comes down here somewhere, and it's just random loot that you can pick up, put in your inventory, salvage it. Once you salvage it, you put all the goods back in the chest, and it goes into the crafting area. Very simple process. I love it. It's amazing. So let's go ahead and look at how this thing works, okay? Here is a chest. It's got a lot of the fish, all the fish that I've found so far to cook with. It also has shovels in here. As I get a new fish, I'm going to place it in here and take out that shovel. And because those fish are there, I can actually cook with those fish. See, T-Palace fish is a part of this recipe. It can access that. Same thing with the chest up here. It has specific things in here in order for me to cook with. If I need another item, I just remove that shovel, and it will continue to, everything else will continue to pass through this chest. Now, you can craft everything. You can craft everything. So the problem's been solved. You no longer have to look for chests to place items in, and you no longer have to have material in your inventory in order for you to craft things. So the inventory issue is a thing of the past now, thanks to the 1.1 update. Now, some things I haven't done yet. I've only killed, I think, 4 bosses in this playthrough. So some things I have not accessed, right? Like magma stuff, for example. And again, you can still craft everything. You have access to all the different workbenches, and all the different workbenches are craftable. And it's all because of these 6 chests. Now, say I want to upgrade something, I just throw it in there. All the ancient coins are available. I don't have to worry about looking for them. Same thing with the bars. Not a big deal at all. Very easy, very quick. Same thing here. The different crafting stations. Easily get to what I need. If I want to go ahead and reinforce, no problem. I don't have to go looking for stuff. That was very important in this design. Now, I don't have Pandorium because I'm not at that point in the game. But as you can see, the chests absolutely reach. So once I do have it, it's not a big deal. And just everything is craftable. So that was a very important problem that I wanted to solve with this base, is the auto sorting at my base. My dump chest is also a very important mechanic that I wanted with this base, and we've solved for that. So not only do we have the dump chest that's feeding the system, but we also have our wood farm feeding the system. Now when the game fires up, it takes a hot minute to get this stuff moving, but once it gets moving, it's a lot. A lot comes through this. We have a lot more wood sections for this because we are processing a lot more stuff. So once the wood comes down, or the seeds, no problem. They'll all end up right here in this tile. Then they'll get fed into the table, and the table will only accept 4 items. So if I go and I put this in there, only 1 goes in there. See? So you can't put stacks on a table. So what happens is these 4 arms pick up 4 logs. 3 of those logs go through a saw. The 4th one does not. So 1 log and then 3 planks go through this system into the base. And there's 3 of these set up for the different types of wood. Yeah, see, there's bunches and bunches of stuff. So that's the footprint of the wood farm. You've got the actual farm, and then it comes and it feeds through these splitters, and then it feeds down this belt. It goes into the system. Now these are the auto ranching, auto cattle, and I'll show you what that looks like right now. And actually I'm going to bring something with me to kind of showcase. Now I don't want this part automated. I don't want to feed these guys. So which ones can I feed? Let's feed these guys. All right. So the food goes in, and now they can eat. And once they eat, they'll go ahead and whatever, see, you can hear them eating right now. And then the wool will come out, and these arms pick up the wool and put it on this belt, and it goes into this line. Now here's the cool feature about this. If they breed, and say there's 3 or 4 or whatever, they'll get pushed down here where this drill will kill them. So it actually provides us with meat as well. So if I need meat or I need any of the stuff that these create, then I'll start to feed them, but I really don't need them right now. So I haven't been feeding them. I have made this section a little bit smaller, the NPC hotel, and I've also made this section smaller. I didn't want that massive fishing area because I don't really need the massive fishing area to fish. So that's much more convenient for this play. And also you'll notice I don't have any dirt underneath these roots. Well, why is that? Well, it's because nothing has been broken because I've closed off the base. So we have doors at our entrances. So these monsters cannot get into my base. Whereas on the 1.0 base, they were left wide open. Monsters would come in, I would kill them, and I would destroy the roots of my core, and I don't want that. So we solved for that. That problem has been fixed. Okay, now the actual map itself, this is what it looks like. So you've got the wood farm. It feeds into the splitters. Here's the auto cattle. All of that gets fed in. Here's the auto smelter, which comes from you, because the only way ore is going to get into the system is if you put it in there. So the dump chest feeds into the smelting system first, then it goes into the rest of it. Whereas all of this goes right into the rest of it. So it bypasses the auto smelter system. And it's just for pathing purposes. And then all of it gets fed through these chests that's behind the core, and it comes back over to our massive storage. Very easy, simple design. Some of the components of the design might be complicated, especially if you've never seen this kind of automation. If you're interested in seeing more of these designs with better breakdowns so that you can build them yourselves, let me know. I would be glad to help. In fact, if you want to, just go ahead and jump into our Discord. I can put a lot of this stuff as far as imagery together prior to the videos so that you can use them yourself, as well as when I put the video together or I do a live, you will be notified right away. And if you would, drop a comment, let me know if there's anything you would like to see in the base. Let me know if there's something that you do with your base that maybe I can do for mine. And that's it for this one. I will see you in the next one. Peace.